examples of powerful reporting. You want to get your juices going and some ideas that'll help you out. Now, this is Journalism 101, where we hear a rumor of a high school principal who's doing things he shouldn't. And what do? Well, we run on down and see if there's any written documentation. In this case, they went down and got a police report or the court records. Pretty basic. We all know how to do that. Although your average citizen doesn't. A lot of people don't know you can go down and get that or where to get it. So the skills you have, we think this is real basic, but the average person would just be wowed. And so we all have skills. Be proud of them. They're really important. Now let's take it to the next level though. Here's where the Seattle Times heard rumors of coaches who were doing inappropriate things. But they went down, they looked for police reports, they looked for court records, they weren't there. What was going on? They're trying to figure out, well, maybe the schools are covering it up. Maybe they're not letting it get into the court system where there'd be a paper trail. So they asked for disciplinary records of all the school teachers in the Seattle area from the schools. And they're public. There's a case law in the state that made that public, and it's public in most states. I don't know about Virginia, though. Is that public, Megan, in Virginia? Disciplinary records of employees?
Usually considered personnel records.
Yeah, I think in Virginia they're not considered public, which I think is a big problem in this state. And I would push to have those made public, because in most states they're public. Because it just makes sense, right? Let's just use a sniff test. My employee, public employee that works for me, I pay for their salary. Aren't they entitled to know whether they are good or doing their job or if they're messing up at it? I'm entitled to see when they mess up. So they went after these records, and what they found was 159 coaches in the area who were disciplined or reprimanded or fired for having sexual contact with their players, high school players. That's statutory rape. And it never got into the court system because the schools were handling it quietly. Now, they also found that coaches would be quietly fired. They'd move on to another district, and that district wouldn't know. All of them kept in the dark, too. Everybody kept in the dark. Parents kept in the dark. And they would reoffend again. That's what secrecy allows. Secrecy allows people to do bad things over and over and over. Like this fella here, Randy Sherritt. He reoffended several times in this secret system that was allowed to go. By the way, the teachers union fought this. They tried to stop this from being made public. They filed an injunction that the paper had to go all the way to the state Supreme Court to fight to get these records, even though they were entitled to. And that's the result when we bring bad things to light. It's really important. It makes the world a better place. That's why it has to be public. Now, a lot of cool records out there that are already provided, we can download for free, like bridge inspection data. A lot of journalists have looked at this. You can download this from this National Bridge Inventory. And you can just Google National Bridge Inventory, and it's also in your handouts. And identify bad bridges in your area. And there are lots of online records that we can tap into that help us do that. Here's the New York Times, where this is one of the first places for investigative reporting. This was our #1 choice. This was one business reporter who gathered water quality data from every jurisdiction in the country. That is a huge job. Every state put it into a big database, analyzed it, found that there really wasn't much enforcement of water quality. That our drinking water around the country is getting worse and worse and worse. To the point of rotting kids' teeth, to the point of in West Virginia, there's some families that have to put lotion on after they shower because the water burns their skin. You know, that kind of thing. And they put the data online, so anybody can go online, look at the data for their own town and see what it is in their area. And I looked for Tucson and found we have arsenic above our federal levels in Tucson water. I'm drinking arsenic. Now the city's not going to put out a press release on that. They're not going to tell me that. We have to go find it ourselves. And anybody can just go down and look up these water testing results from their city, their municipalities, and find this out for themselves. You don't need to be anybody special to do it. So, really good story. You know, water of death. It really is. Now here is this great thing. This a former reporter from Atlanta, Adrian Colorado, he created this website where they gathered data from a town, all these metropolitan areas. And if you live in one of those about 15 metropolitan areas, you can put your address in, and it'll give you all these records and things that have happened in your neighborhood. 1 block radius, 3 block radius, 8 block radius, whatever you designate. Crime results, restaurant inspections, building permits, real estate listings, even movie permits. If they're going to film a movie near you. Just all sorts of neat records. And it'll give you email updates even. This is a neat way of gathering records, putting it together in an easy way for people to access. This software, by the way, that he created is open source. It's free. Anybody can use it. So you can tailor this to your website. And all you have to do is you have to gather all the data and records, which is just a bit of work, a little bit of work. But there are tools out there that allow you to do this. ProPublica, that investigative nonprofit doing really great work, won a Pulitzer this year, I believe. Created open source software called TableStat that allows you to get something in Excel and put it on your website. It's sortable and searchable. So it's real easy to just toss up Excel data for readers. Really useful. Anybody can do it. And there are tons and tons and tons of documents. You know, there's business records, disasters, good old train accident data, boxcars of death. By the way, just had of death, anything, it was a good Sunday story, a sweet story. Of death, that's key. You know, the rail accident data, completely free, download it, looking for your state. Education records, pollutants of death, politics of death, just on and on and on. Now, while there's a lot of data online, it's not always helpful. Just like the restaurant inspection data. So you get a grade, and maybe a brief description. Like one of my students had. She went to South Point Catholic High School in Tucson. It's the most prestigious high school in the city. It's private, it's very expensive. Only the elite get to go there. And so she plunked their cafeteria in there in the database the county puts online. This is what she got. And she got the dates, and she got kind of some brief description, and the overall rating of N for needs improvement. That's what she got. So I don't know, she's like, what do I learn from that? What does that mean? And I said, I don't know. Go look at the full report. She's like, oh, there's a full report? Yeah, it's down in the office. You have to go down to the health department. I have to drive down there? You know? A lot of students today just want to get everything from the internet. That one story turned into says, according to the internet. You know, but they're so she went down to the health department, got the report, came back, looked at it, and she's looking at the first page and saying, I don't know, cheese, 41 degrees, what does that mean? I don't know. So just keep reading, and then she read the inspector's notes. And these are the handwritten notes that you really want to get at. And I'm sorry, because this is around, oh, it's after lunch. So we have lizard carcasses, dead insects, rodent droppings all over the place, rodent droppings with heavy accumulation in back storage area and throughout kitchen. Is that needs improvement? You know, that's what I tell my students when they get a B or C, you just need some improvement. This is needs shutting down, right? And if you were a parent, wouldn't you want to know this? What you see online and the sanitized data is not enough. We have to go and get the real records. And this is the danger of the internet. The internet is great for putting a lot out there, but it can give us a false sense of access security, of transparency security, that it's all out there, when in reality it often isn't. And it can make us, it can lull us into complacency and not go after the real records. So that's really important to go after.